This is the Fifth Hour Podcast with Matt Arnoldson, Lucas Scholze, Matt Belial, Samantha Buxton, and Nancy Shong. We have 5 separate stories for you tonight in 5 different categories. We have news, tech, sports, entertainment, and opinion. All very well thought out 10 out of 10 reports. We'll start off with the main story for tonight, the news article. The news article today is about the Middle East and the dangers that are in there currently. We'll be looking at one of the most infamous groups from the Middle East, the Taliban. The Taliban was a terrorist group formed in 1994. They were in charge of protecting a convoy and quickly proved that they were amongst the strongest of factions. Led by Mullah Mohammed Omar since the early 1900s, the Taliban is a group of mostly students. November of 1994, the Taliban takes control of the city of Kandahar. And that begins the Taliban's terrorist strike, controlling cities and putting strict Islamic laws on said cities.
Do you know someone who is becoming to be a teenage mother or who is pregnant? Teenage pregnancy is a topic of concern due to the impact on the health of the mother, child, and community. The resources available for supporting the needs of teenage mothers are decreasing, sadly, because the majority of teenage mothers being caught in the dangerous cycle of poverty, school failure, and limited life options. One fact is hope. Is one of the facts that the teenage mother knows she can count on her mother and father for guidance and support if she is brave enough to tell her parents. Youngsters who fear meeting the rejection or abuse at home or at school may try to keep this pregnancy a secret as long as possible. The birth rate of young women who will become pregnant before age 20 is the 4 out of 5 of those pregnancies will be undetermined, including about half of those among married teenagers. Whatever their circumstances, though, the news that they are pregnant usually comes as shock or often not a welcome one. The lack of medical attention will lead to problems.
What we're talking about today is how sports in high school affect students. Sports have quite a big positive and a negative effect on students. Positively, teens who play sports significantly cut their chances of being overweight and obese. This is important because there's been so many people overweight in the past few years and it's really getting out of hand. So maybe if we can get more teens involved, then our obese rates will go down. Also, teens who play sports regularly are more likely to get better grades. Another thing that sports do is help you communicate and work as a team. Being able to do this is a huge advantage in the real world. In the real world, it helps you better cope and talk with your coworkers and boss and stuff like that. And while you're in high school, it helps you talk with people and not be socially awkward. Negatively, sports affect you because when you play competitive sports in high school, you have to get up earlier, stay up later, exercise more, work harder every day, every single week, and it really takes a toll on people.
Ever heard of virtual reality? Well, this new technology will bring your mind into a fun fan of awe. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Oculus Rift. The Oculus Rift is a 3D headset which makes any video game that is designed for the Oculus Rift real. Oh, real you may ask. Well, it's so realistic that people try to reach out and touch what's in front of them when really they are touching the screens or any other object that they just made fall. Doesn't sound true or amazing? Tell that to Facebook, who bought the company for $2 billion, and PS creators who are trying to create their own version of Oculus. The Oculus Rift is still in progress of upgrades that doctors or any other people who need to do scenarios can practice on the Oculus Rift, so they are more experienced. It can also be worn by people who have glasses, which is always a plus for everyone. The cons, though, for the Oculus is that it only works on games that are designed for the Oculus Rift. And there's some health effects, too. People start getting motion sickness, and they also start getting headaches, which is common when you use the Oculus Rift. But the Oculus Rift is very worth trying out if you are interested. You have to try it yourself, though, to know. Back to math now.
That was our 5th Hour News podcast. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Herman.